Hey, hi, how are you? Okay, let me
Hi, Amish.
just a bit. Okay. Hi, how are you doing?
Lots of people joining in. I was thinking we'll probably take about 2, 3 minutes, wait for a few more people, and then go
Yeah, sure. I think we already have
on.
fun
Yeah, we
on it.
have a lot
Okay.
of people already.
I'll get
I
some
think
coffee
everyone,
while you chat away.
yeah. And can everyone let us know if both Amish and I are audible, if the video is working well for for everyone, if you can see both of us clearly. If there's
Sending
any
my
issue, let us
special
know.
lead. Hey, Purvi. Hey, Jitesh. The Weekend Cafe saying, Amish, hi, Weekend Cafe. Okay. Chronicles of Curious. Yeah, I think they're saying that Khana Sutra. Okay, visual. Okay. Well, they were saying that they can hear me and you,
Awesome.
and
Awesome.
we are
That's
visible.
great. So, a big thing is scheduled for later today, guys. We have something very exciting coming up. Amish, do you want to talk about what it is, what's going to be happening?
Yeah, listen, I mean, it's all of them know already because
I know.
we've been blasting it all over social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, both Harper and I. So pre-orders for War of Lanka have started right now. The pre-orders have started, and those who want to know where to buy it, where to pre-order it, I think the link is there on my bio, and it'll probably be there
Okay.
on Harper's bio
Interesting.
as well. The
Yeah.
links are there. You can pre-order. The book will launch very soon. We'll of course announce that in due course. My dear friend Anupam Kherji, we're going to be launching the cover.
Yeah.
In an hour and a half. That will be live from his Insta account and my Insta account. That'll be an hour and a half, 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Am I correct? Sorry.
Correct.
Yeah.
Perfectly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. That's 9:30
And
p.m. Big cover
yeah,
movie.
those are the key news items. So pre-orders are on. War of
Yeah.
Lanka is finally here. Apologies for the delay once again, but and I hope you guys will like the book when you read it.
Oh, I'm sure they will because I know it's been a
Yeah.
long wait. We've been, yeah.
Hang on. Before we carry on, I should introduce the one joining in from Harper, Swati.
All right.
She's my editor at Harper. Everyone say hi to Swati. Say hi, Swati, very loudly. Keep it up in full chest. Okay.
Uh,
She's
let
the one who's worked with me on the book out here. And what you'll see is the work of all of us. Me, my team, Harper's team, all of us together.
it
And it is for you guys, and we hope you guys enjoy it. Now, over to you, Swati.
It's been such a long wait for so many of your readers that I can already see the comments. They've got the release date that they're talking about. They're talking about the fact that they're huge fans. So I don't want. I know we'll be having a much deeper conversation at 9:30 when the covers launched. But right now, I just wanted you to give us these small sort of introduction and little bit of like sort of like let's think of it as a teaser. The trailer's about to come, the book will release when it does, and that's the full movie. Right now is a little bit of teaser and just kind of get people excited about what one about writing War of Lanka and working on the book, and how's it been, because this is that big book that brings everything together. So let's talk a little bit about War of Lanka, and then we'll of course go on to that surprise that we had talked about.
Okay, so War of Lanka is the fourth book of the Ramchandra series, which I'm sure all of you guys know. The first three books were in a multilinear narrative. Now, this is something I've seen first in this Japanese movie by this brilliant director called Akira Kurosawa. There's a movie called Rashomon, and essentially what was done in that movie was seeing the same incident through three different perspectives, and I thought it was one of the most innovative ways to actually communicate a story. I thought it'd be cool if we communicate Ramayana, through the same route. Because if you think about it, the Ramayana is essentially the word Ramayana literally means the journey of Ram. So the traditional Ramayana is told always from the perspective of Lord Ram. But the three primary characters who drive the story of the Ramayana forward are actually Lord Ram, Goddess Sita, and Ravan. And I thought that if we can understand all three characters, their backstories in detail, we'll actually understand why they do what they do from when their narratives kind of clash together. So the first book, Ram Sign of Ikshvaku, was from the birth of Lord Ram to the kidnapping of Goddess Sita. The second, Sita, warrior of Mithila, was from her birth to her kidnapping. And the third book, Ravan, enemy of Aryavarta, was from Ravan's birth to the time he kidnapped Goddess Sita. Now, so all these three merged at the same place, the kidnapping of Goddess Sita, and War of Lanka is from here onwards. From the kidnapping of Goddess Sita till the death of Ravan and the return of the royal couple to Ayodhya. So this is where the traditional, or at least the Ramcharitmanas ends, where most of us Indians, at least urban Indians, we think the Ramayana ends. So this is the fourth book, War of Lanka, and obviously most of it is essentially the war.
Exactly. I mean, it's so action packed. I mean, you can just see. I'm so excited for people to read this. And okay, so we are here for a special surprise.
Swati is of course read it.
Yes, I have read it. I mean, it was such a. I remember, I read the first three books just before starting editing on War of Lanka, and it's just. I would really suggest that everyone here who's even missed one book, or it's been a while since you've read the previous one, or you don't have the other three books, go get yourself all three books before War of Lanka releases. Read it one in a go, and you've got this huge canvas unfolding, right? Because all of these books have released 1 year after the other. So now with War of Lanka, I think if you revisit those books, or if you start reading right from Ram to War of Lanka, it's just going to be quite a journey. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. But okay, we are here for...
I only request, let's not speak too much about the time, otherwise my readers are going to start giving galis. I know this one was delayed. I will apologize once again.
Oh, it's well worth it though. I'm sure. I remember telling you this, that once people read it, they will just forgive all the waiting. That's going to be worth it. But okay, let's get on to the actual. Someone said no spoilers. Don't worry, no spoilers. This conversation about War of Lanka will continue at 9:30.
Someone is also asking for pre-order links. Just go to the bio of author Amish or the bio of HarperCollins and you'll find the link to pre-order.
Wonderful. Yes. So okay, so we are here to basically talk to the readers here. 9:30 p.m. you have your cover launch, but this is something very exciting, right? I want you to tell the people who've joined in what we are doing now.
So this I thought was a brilliant idea, that we are going to the Harper team is going to pick I think 7 or 10 questions. 10 questions from among the questions that you guys put up. And you will be, whoever gets picked will be invited to join the Instagram live with us, and you can ask your question to me and I will answer you here. So you can actually join the Insta live. So 10 of you, okay, put up your question and you'll get to come up here and ask your question on video on Instagram live, and we will ask it. Now obviously the so you have to make sure you impress the Harper guys, because I have no role to play in this.
Yes, we've got a team working on the background because it's difficult for all of us.
Shortlist the question, and so ask some really cool questions, and whichever question gets shortlisted will be invited to join the Insta live right here.
Wonderful. This question, I can already see the questions coming in. Guys, we've got a team in the background working, looking at your questions, sending them to us, the best ones, and I'm going to start reading out those questions and asking the person who sent the question to please send a joining link to us. Yeah, I mean, let's start. I think I can already see a few. I'm gonna start off because we've got a question from Sumukh Bhupalam.
Someone said Amish is here. Oh God. Yeah, okay, I'm here.
Okay, so we've got a question.
Sorry, go ahead.
We've got a question from Sumukh Bhupalam. Sumukh has asked, Amish, how was the experience writing the fourth book? But I want him to ask this directly to you. So Sumukh, if you could send us the joining request, I'm going to let you in. Let's see. Waiting for Sumukh's joining request to come in. So Mukh, if you're still here, do send your joining request. And in the meanwhile, we'll see more questions coming in. So let's see.
In the meantime, while someone joins, why don't we ask questions? Something which you feel like it.
Yes,
here.
so I also, okay, so you know, one of the things that I wanted to know about it before the questions start coming in, my personal question would be, when you write a book with so many different layers and so many different, you know, like things colliding, how do you plot your books? Like, how would you, is this a giant map in your head that you're just kind of, you know, plotting, and it has the end been in your head all along while you've written the first book?
I'd love to say that I am the super genius who has planned this entire thing and, and made this brilliant Excel sheet and maybe a workflow document or something to plan the entire flow. But that would be a lie. Because, those who read my book in detail would know that actually it's not just the Ramchandra series which is connected to each other. Even the Shiva trilogy and Ramchandra series are actually connected to each other. One of the ways to read the Ramchandra series is that it's a 1400-year prequel to the events of the 1500-year prequel to the events of the Shiva trilogy. So there are things that were written in Immortals of Meluha which are tied up in this one, War of Lanka, which is written 12 years, which is released 12 years later. There's no way I could have planned all this, man. I genuinely, I've said this before often, that I just go with my instinct. I kind of discover the story as much as as you guys discover it while reading. I discover it while writing. That's how I actually write. So I genuinely believe Lord Shiva creates it, and I'm just a witness to that brilliance. To his brilliance, actually.
So I can see. Yeah, I can see Shamak trying to join. Yes, he sent a message saying, "How do I join?" If I think HarperCollins is sending him a way of joining, but in the meanwhile,
read up a question out here and ask.
Yeah, so okay. The next question that I've gotten that has been picked for the next thing is by the Yash.Raj. What is going to be the next one in this book? If in this book itself end of Ravan is present? So that's a complicated question, bit of a spoilery question, but
Ravan will get killed. I can see where you're going. Ravan will get killed.
So let's call the Yash Raj to join. Let's see if Yash has sent us a request. I can't see Yash's request yet, but Yash, if you could send us a joining request, I'll be able to accept it.
Actually, there are too many.
Yeah, there are many people here, but I'm just scrolling down to see.
So I guess at times we can miss someone.
Okay, so I haven't yet gotten. Yeah, Yash has. I'm letting go. Letting Yash in.
All right.
Yash, there you go. I have accepted. Yes.
So,
what was that? Okay, let's see again. Yash, I think you'll have to send us another request.
Tanya saying, hello, sir, big fan. Thank you, Tanya. Someone has asked when when Lord Darshat vanished Ram to the forest, there was a nose guy. Who was he? Good question. You'll have to wait for that a bit.
Okay, so I think there's a problem with Yash joining. He logs in and then it goes away. Okay, while we try to...
Saying already pre-ordered. Thank you, Ashutosh. What someone has asked, what date will we receive the books? It's going to launch on October 3rd, but I'm assuming whoever you get it to will get it as soon as possible. Get it to you as soon as possible. And okay.
There's Yash.
What's your name?
Am I audible?
I think he's got a connectivity issue. Yeah. Hi, Yash.
Yeah.
Hey, Yash.
Hi. Yeah, so big fan. Like the question was, I just heard you mentioning that this book would include the end of Ravan. So I was curious, like I thought it is a 5-book series. So what are we looking for in the 5th book, if it is at all coming? And I had put another question also, like, I know it is just too early right now, but the way you have touched the Indian mythologies, and given a scientific touch to it, like an essence to it, to explain many things that were just assumed to be some magic or just some what do you call, some out of the world thing or something. You have tried to justify them by giving some essence of science. So I want to ask, like, what is the next big mythology that you are going to be touching upon? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good questions, Yash. Firstly, what will be, yes, the Ramchandra series will have a fifth book, but you can see the fourth book as it's kind of like the penultimate end. It is where the traditional Ramayana ends. So, the various kands of the Ramayana, right? So there's an Uttarkand, which is like right at the end. So there will be an Uttarkand to this as well. But you can have a sense of conclusion at the end of this fourth book as well, because this is where the traditional Ramayana ends. And what the next book will be about, there is a clue at the end. Okay. Which I'm sure someone like you who's following the books closely will catch. Now, the other series, look, I have various ideas in mind, man. I have ideas on the Mahabharata, I have ideas on Lord Parshuram's story, I have ideas on Tales of the Mother Goddess, so various stories. But I also have ideas set in the modern day, actually. And some on the Indic Chronicles as well. Legend of Suheldev was launched 2 years back, but there's also other stories in that series as well, historical heroes and heroines. So that also has to be done. So I have more book ideas and the capacity to write. I'll try and get them out as soon as possible, I promise you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And I would like to, like last time I could meet you during your Ravan book launch in a physical event.
Okay.
So I hope that there's gonna be events around for book launch that you will be visiting.
I will. I
Yes.
will be in India. This time we'll
Thank you.
have physical
Sir,
launch events 100%.
please be in Pune, because there are a lot of people following you from here.
Yeah,
We'd love to see you.
I will
Thank you,
100%
sir.
come to Pune.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you, sir.
Yash. Thank you for joining.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
We've got so many questions coming in. Amish, one question that I found very interesting that I'm going to
We have
ask.
to, because he's still there.
I think it's, I think he switched off his camera, but okay,
Yeah.
he's left. Everything's taking a little longer, I think. Okay, the next question, which I find very interesting. So I'm going to request Vineet_PC to join. Vineet, let me see if you've already sent a request or if it's coming. If you can hear this, do send me a request.
Rising Pooja has asked, waiting in Pune. Yes, thank you. Someone asked for a series on Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. I too actually have a series in mind on the Marathas. Let me see. P. Mukherjee saying, please don't delay next part. Yeah, sorry. I know this book was very delayed. I promise the next one will not be that delayed. Thousand apologies. Metyapuram, I am enjoying very much. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Metyapuram. Okay. This is AI.
I think Vineet has sent a request. I'm just.
Hi, Vineet. How are you doing?
Hello, how is am I audible?
Yes, you are.
completely audible. How are you doing?
Ask your question.
I'm very good. I'm getting very nervous. This is a fanboy moment for me.
Arey, nothing to be nervous about. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I actually cannot hear your voice properly.
Okay, a little louder. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
सर मैं ज्यादा बुक्स पढ़ता नहीं था वैसे, मतलब 10th से मेरे दोस्त ने इंट्रोड्यूस कराया आपके बुक्स से, और फिर मैंने आपकी मतलब शिवा ट्रिलोजी थी वो तीनों बुक्स मैंने एक वीक में निपटा दिए पूरे, और मतलब मेरा अटेंशन स्पैन उतना है नहीं वैसे, लेकिन आपकी बुक्स पढ़ के बहुत ही मतलब अलग ही फीलिंग आई, फिर आपका फैन ही बन गया मैं, तब से आपकी बुक्स मतलब फॉलोइंग करता हूँ। तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था सर कि आप अपने भी आइडियाज देते हैं बुक्स में, लेकिन आप जो ओरिजिनल स्क्रिप्चर है उसको ज्यादा छेड़ते नहीं है, तो आप ये कैसे मैनेज करते हैं?
देखिए ये ऐसा है कि सॉरी वरुण ना विनीत सॉरी विनीत, देखिए ये ऐसा है कि हमारी जो प्राचीन जो पौराणिक कहानियां हैं, जो इतिहास है, क्योंकि हम उसे जो अगर हिंदी में बात करेंगे तो हम उसे मिथ का नहीं कहते हैं। अंग्रेजी शब्द मिथ होता है, लेकिन मिथ का मतलब अलग है। हम उसे मिथ्या नहीं कहते, क्योंकि हिंदी में मिथ्या का मतलब अनट्रूथ हो जाता है। हम उसे या तो इतिहास कहेंगे या पौराणिक कहानी कहेंगे। आप देखेंगे कि हमारी जो पौराणिक कहानियां हैं उसमें एक ही कहानी के अलग अलग वर्णन मिलेंगे आपको। जैसे कार्तिक जी का जो जन्म, कार्तिक जी की जो जन्म की जो कहानी है, लिंग पुराण में अलग है, स्कंद पुराण में अलग है। आप रामायण को ही देख लीजिए तो जहां तक जो आधुनिक जो भारतीय हैं, हम सबको ऐसा लगता है कि भाई लक्ष्मण रेखा का वर्णन रामचरितमानस में किया गया है। जो लक्ष्मण जी ने जो किया था ना, कि सीता माँ को कहा था कि आप लक्ष्मण रेखा के पीछे ही रहिए, जो
हाँ
बाण
हाँ।
से जो पीछा था उनने देखा तो। लेकिन लक्ष्मण रेखा का वर्णन सबसे
फिर
ओरिजिनल वाल्मीकि रामायण में
नहीं है,
नहीं है, यह
नहीं है, आपके इंटरव्यू
रामचरितमानस
में
में है।
देख रहा मैंने।
तो
हाँ
तो
हाँ।
मतलब क्या है इसका, देखिए रामायण के भी कई वर्णन है, पौराणिक कहानियों के भी कई वर्णन है, और इसमें कहानी अलग अलग होती है। तो हमारे पूर्वज क्या करते थे कि हमारी जो प्राचीन जो परंपरा है, जो आत्मा है, उसकी इज्जत करते थे, लेकिन कपड़े नहीं पहना देते थे। क्यों? क्योंकि जैसे समय बदलता है, कहानियां भी बदलनी चाहिए। क्योंकि जो उस समय की, जो उस युग की जो युवा पीढ़ी होगी, उसे कैसे आकर्षित किया जाए कहानी के ऊपर। तो आप कह सकते हैं कि रूप ढाल बदल सकते हैं, लेकिन आत्मा वही पुरानी होती है। तो मैं भी वैसे ही लिखता हूँ, आत्मा वही पुरानी है। जो जिन भी देवी देवताओं के बारे में मैं लिखता हूँ, मैं खुद उनका उपासक हूँ, खुद इज्जत से लिखता हूँ। मैं ओम नमः शिवाय कड़ा पहनता हूँ, रुद्राक्ष माला पहनता हूँ। तो ऐसा नहीं कि मैं कोई ज्यादातर पश्चिमी टाइप का इंसान हूँ और अपने देवी देवता की पूजा नहीं करता। तो एक्चुअली मैं खुद इज्जत से लिखता हूँ, बस नजरिया थोड़ा सा अलग है। तो यही यही परंपरा तो हमारे पूर्वज हजारों साल से चला रहे थे। तो इसलिए आपने एकदम सही कहा कि क्यों, जो प्राचीन जो फलसफा है, जो दर्शन है, जो फिलॉसफी है, उससे मैं छेड़छाड़ नहीं करता, बस नजरिया थोड़ा सा अलग कर देता। और यही हमारी पूर्वजों की परंपरा रही है। शायद इसी कारण हमारी संस्कृति जो है आज भी जिंदा है, क्योंकि आत्मा वही पुरानी हम लोग पकड़े रहते हैं। लेकिन उसमें आप कह सकते हैं शरीर या रूप ढाल हम लोग नया लगा देते हैं, तो नए युग में वो फिर से उपजाऊ हो जाती
वाह। सर
है।
मैं बहुत बड़ा फैन हूँ आपका सर। मेरे को पता भी नहीं था कि मेरे को मिलेगा चांस कि नहीं। आई गॉट लकी टुडे।
वेरी नाइस मीटिंग यू। आप कहाँ में रहते हैं?
लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड फॉर, मैं मुंबई में रहता हूँ।
चलो, वेरी नाइस मीटिंग यू।
Thank you
लुकिंग
for
फॉरवर्ड फॉर
joining,
द बुक
Amish.
सर। थैंक यू।
बाय बाय।
बाय बाय।
More very interesting questions coming up. So the next person that I'd like joining, send us a request, please, would be Saloni Gami, 247, who's asked a question about writing from female perspective when you wrote Sita. So Saloni, if you can come on, ask your question, and meet Amish. Let me see if I've got Saloni's request yet. That's a lot of requests. Hoping I'll be able to add many of Saloni. Let's see. So far, I can't see it. But you can start actually answering her question, Amish, because I think it's a very good question. Says, while writing the book about Sita, how did you write it from the female perspective?
The way I see it is, I genuinely write the characters as a witness. So even when even when I was writing, say, Lord Shiva or Satima or Parvateshwar, it's not that I become them. Right? Oh, okay. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Saloni.
Sorry, what is your name once again?
My name is Saloni.
Saloni. Pleasure meeting you, Saloni. Okay, fantastic question. So let me just say this. Look, the way I write, and I've said this a few times honestly, the stories genuinely come to me in a sense like I'm a witness to them. I don't know if that makes sense to you, that I don't believe that I create the stories. I actually believe that the stories are kind of happening in a parallel universe. The characters are living out their lives, and I get the privilege of entering that universe and recording what I see. And I've said this often before, in many ways, that universe appears more real to me than our universe right now, our actual physical universe. Because right now, I can't hear what you think. I can't feel the emotions of Swati. I can't. Obviously, I can't, right? But in that, the story universe, I can actually hear what they think. I can see them. I feel their emotions. I cry with them. I laugh with them. So, in some way, I am not really anyone, but in some way, I am all those characters, right? I don't know if that makes sense. So that's how I write. It's completely an instinctive process. I genuinely believe it's a blessing. I genuinely believe Lord Shiva kind of creates these stories and he blesses me by giving me the privilege of entering that universe and recording what I see. So I don't actually I think your thing, if I'm not saying it, you were thinking, how would I think like a woman? I wasn't actually trying to think like a woman. I wasn't. I was just, it was another person and I was recording what I see. That's how it was. Just like it's another male character, another transgender character, anyone, or animals, anything, spiritual character. I just record what I see. That's how I write.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, I just wanted to say one thing. I was not a person who was interested in mythology. Upon hearing one of the podcasts, I became proud of Indian mythology and started learning about it. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Saloni. You take care and all my good
you.
wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, Saloni. Okay, another next question. So this is question number 5, I think. Though we couldn't have the first one join in, so we'll see if we have time for one more in the end. But the next question is from its_m_miracle. If you could send us a request, that'll be great, and I'll add you to the chat. And I'd like you to ask your question yourself if you can, if we can add you quickly. Let's see. Its_m_miracle. Let's see if I've got the request yet. There's a lot of people wanting to join the chat.
Whoever gets lucky, I guess. I mean, whoever gets, you can ask someone else also.
No, we've got her joining. There you go. I've added her to the chat. Let's see. It'll take a second to buffer, I think.
Yeah, Rishabh was just asking how to ask questions. Just type your questions out and HarperCollins will decide and let you in. Hi, how are you? What's your name?
Hello, Amish. I'm Manjushri.
Hi, Manjushri. How are you doing?
Oh, very well. I'm actually shaking right now. I'm so nervous. I'm a huge fan. Like, I've been fangirling about you all day because my colleagues were like, okay, go. We don't want you today. We don't want this energy today. I was so nervous today.
Where do you work?
I work in a software company called Capgemini in Bangalore.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Which city are you in?
Bangalore.
Bangalore. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, what's your question?
Yeah, my question is that, like, we know what Ramayana is. It has been spoiled to us already since the moment of our births. So I was thinking, like, how did you channel and add your flair to it? Like, what was your thought process when you wanted to write it? Because it is such a huge epic and it must have been a really tough responsibility to carry on. So how did you manage to, write it and add your own flair to it?
No, I think you said it so. Sorry, if you can just remind me of your name again. I'm so sorry.
No problem. Manjushri.
Manjushri. Manjushri, yeah. I think you said it so beautifully. That all of us Indians, regardless of religion, regardless of community, regardless of the region we are from, regardless of the language we speak, we know the Ramayana from the day we are born. It's, in fact, perhaps even before we are born with it, right? It's part of our genes, part of our bones. Because we are such an ancient culture. And these stories, we are actually the only pre-Bronze Age culture that is still alive, the only one. So we are so ancient, so many things are actually a part of our genes that we're almost born with it. And I think you're right that in some ways, the honor of having an opportunity to write on it or to even speak of it or to even interpret it, or frankly to even read it, is so high for us Indians, because it is just so deep in our way of life. There are things which just we can just hear a shloka and it can bring tears to our eyes, because it's a part of our genes. Sometimes the honor can be so intense that you can get uh, perhaps so weighed under by it that you find it difficult to even move, right? If you know what I mean. But another way of seeing it is actually that the honor is not mine. That I'm actually uh, just a devotee, right? And Lord Shiva is creating this. You do know that, in many of the versions of the Ramayana, actually, the story of Lord Ram, Lord Shiva is saying the story of Lord Ram to Goddess Parvati. You know that, right? In many of the Mahabharata, many of the versions. The Ramayana is there as a part of the Mahabharata as well, a summary of the Mahabharata. So, if anyone who is like my grandfather used to do ucharans of the Ramayana, right? When he was in Kashi, he was a Pandit in Kashi. He was a teacher at Banaras in the university. And every Sunday, I remember when we were kids, he used to go to Gangaji on the side. We were a Shaivite family, a Shiv Bhakt family. But my grandfather was also very, very proud devotee of Lord Ram. So he used to carry the Ramcharitmanas, and sit on the ghats at Tulsi Ghat, if I remember, and used to read a few pages and then just explain it. People would just gather around free of cost. You just explain it, and used to say it's a privilege, right? And where his interpretations come from was just him. Maybe that's the way I see it. That Lord Shiva is creating it, and I just get the opportunity of recording what I see. If I think about it that way, then the honor doesn't weigh me down that much.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for
Like a
you writing.
long-winded and emotional answer, but you asked a very good question.
Thank you so much. Like, I'm so grateful that you wrote this book. I've been a mythology fan since my younger days, but reading your books, it gave me just a whole new perspective into this genre and also our culture. I've asked many of my friends, and they have started with your books, and they are now so much into our culture and our societal norms, which were back then. So, thank you so much for paving a way to all of that.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Manjushri.
much.
So kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Okay, next question is by the person who I picked for the first question. So he sent a request and hopefully he'll be able to join as soon as we've got only two of us. Apparently, only 3 people can be added. So I'm just waiting for Manjushri to check out. Okay, there you go. Now I'm just gonna add Sumuk. Sumuk, I hope you already got accepted. If not, could you send a request again? Let's see. Yeah, I think it's in. There you go. So this is Sumuk. Who's first?
Just me once. The Soham. Soham, ask a question. And I'm sure Harper will pick you. Okay. Who's coming up now?
Now it's Sumuk, who had asked the first question, but he hadn't been able to get added.
Right.
He's being added now. He sent a request, and I hope he'll be able to join. Maybe there's an internet issue. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. So I think there's something wrong. It says Sumuk is unable to join. So we'll move on to the next question. Sumuk, I will make sure your question is answered. I'll keep it.
I think someone's coming. Oh.
Okay, there's an issue, I think, with the internet. Let's see. We've got one more question from Harshit. Harshit's full ID is, I'll just explain. Sorry, we've got a lot of questions coming in, so I'm also, yes. Harshit PD, if you could send a request to me, I will add you. Let's see. Harshit. Thank you so much for sending so many great questions, guys. I know everyone's waiting till we... Okay. Do you want to start taking some questions from the audience till Harshit can join. Otherwise,
Gautam is saying, love you, sir. Gautam, I love you too. Thank you so much for liking my books. Poonam Kumari, can you update us on the progress of web series on Shiva Trilogy? We're working on it, Poonam. Thank you so much. Hussein asked any update on the Mahabharata. Hussein, thank you so much for your interest. That is something that I do plan to take up, but just wait a bit. Let me finish Ramchandra series first. Someone asked for availability of the book in Malaysia and Canada. Harper can answer that, but I'm assuming it would be available through Amazon or through some other channel, either through ebooks or through physical books. Harper is going to make it available. The one who asked from Malaysia and Canada, right? Okay, Vedant Tiwari is asking any other historical fiction. Yes, Vedant, I will, take that up in due course. And yes, hi, buddy.
this is Harshit.
Hi, Harshit. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. A big fan.
Thank you.
Always loved your work on mythological series. So my main question was towards a particular character, which is Hanuman. Given that the character itself has a very huge role to play in the epic of Ramayana, is there any sort of special focus in terms of chapters or probably an entire book on the character, like what you did for Rama and Sita and Ravan? Is there any special focus given to that character anyway in the series, or is there any plan to do that going forward? How is it?
Good question. Harshit, right? Sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Harshit. Harshit, Lord Hanuman obviously has a lot more airtime in this book because he's there from the beginning to the end. In the earlier two books, he had just come in for a little bit of time. Having said that, do I have a backstory in mind for Lord Hanuman as well? Yes, and also for Guru Vishwamitra and Guru Vashisht. Sometime, hopefully, I'll write those, but those will be spin-offs. They're not a part of the Ramchandra series itself. The Ramchandra series, essentially, like I said, there's the three books of the three main characters who drive the narrative forward: Lord Ram, Goddess Sita, and Ravan. And then from the fourth book, War of Lanka onwards, is a common narrative. From the kidnapping of Goddess Sita to the death of Ravan and the royal couple returning to Ayodhya when the first Diwali was celebrated, right? Obviously, when they came back, that was the first Diwali, right? But there will probably be a spin-off story on Lord Hanuman as well. Let me see. Like I said, a lot of my
yes.
I have more. Lord Shiva has blessed me with more story ideas than the capacity to write.
No, why I asked this question was the way you conceptualized these godly characters as probably normal human beings or as Nagas was a very different sort of take that I actually saw even from the Shiva trilogy. And given that sort of take, it would be very interesting to know Hanuman in that sort of a lens, and that would be very really appreciated because it would lead to many different storylines and spin-offs.
Thank you,
I
Harshit.
would be excited.
Having said that, let me tell you something interesting. I recently hosted a documentary with Discovery TV. I don't know if you've seen it, on the Ramayana. It's called Legends of the Ramayana with Amish. We shot the journey of Lord Ram from Ayodhya to Sri Lanka. So I actually traveled with a crew. Do you know that actually modern Hampi, the Vijayanagar capital in Karnataka, is actually ancient Kishkinda? Many Indians don't know this.
Yeah,
right? Hanumanji was born there. Yes. And that is where, large parts of the Ramayana happened. So one of the best ways to get more acquainted with Hanumanji is go to Hampi in Karnataka.
Definitely.
Okay.
And me being from Karnataka itself, so I have a very proud feeling from the bottom of my heart to know that the place holds such great value. And yes, if at all it is possible for you to make it to Bangalore for the book launch as well, for the signed copies, I would be very grateful because I would want to definitely meet you again.
I will 100% come, and I'm sure I'll be there in Bangalore, but essentially Harper will control my life when I'm on the tour. So the person to request is not me, it's actually Swati and the Harper team. Please take me to Bangalore, Swati, please.
We'll keep that in mind. Don't worry. The people behind the entire publicity and marketing are all listening, and they're making notes of all the favorite cities. And Amish, we'll make sure that he gets to all his fans. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, Harshit. Very nice to hear your question. And
thanks, Harshit.
Wonderful. We'll move on to the next one. So this is from _.lone_wolf. Great question again. If we could have you send a request, I will accept you ASAP. Let's see.
Words by Indeep is saying Delhi too. Yes, I will certainly be there in Delhi. 100%.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Delhi, we're going to have a big tour for Amish. So all the people who couldn't meet him in the last release will get to see him. Let's see. _lone_wolf. If you could send a request. Let me see if I can ask you to join. Okay, we haven't got the request yet. Okay, we'll wait for Lone Wolf, but in the meanwhile, let's see. We've got one more question. Let me see if I get that request first. This one is from just_call_me_Shiv. So just call me Shiv. Shiv or Lone Wolf, either of you can send your request and I will add you. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Lone Wolf has sent a request and I have added them. So we'll.
Hi, Lone Wolf.
There you go.
Hello, good evening.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, sir. I'm really good. I'm just excited to meet you, actually.
Thanks. Pleasure meeting you as well. I didn't catch your name. I assume it's not Lone Wolf.
Gautam.
Gautam. Hi, Gautam. How are you? Tell me, what's your question?
Good, sir. No, actually the question was, how was the experience of writing Ravan, who was actually an age-old negative character in a different light?
Gautam, very good question. And I'm not surprised that someone named Gautam has asked this. And I'm sure you're aware Gautam was the original name of the Buddha. Ravan, the thing is this, that he's not a typical thug. That's what makes him so different, right? He was an exceptionally intelligent man, right? And our impression in modern India, our impression of Ravan has been built largely through some television serials, right? Ramanan Sagarji's television serial actually showed his intellectual sides as well. But many of the others made him almost into a caricature, right? And Ravan was actually exceptionally intelligent. He was a very devout Lord Shiva devotee, Lord Shiva worshipper, as was Lord Ram, right? One of the greatest hymns to Lord Shiva is the Tanda Stotra. All of us Shaivites, we chant that the Tanda Stotra. You must have seen my trailer film for Immortals of Meluha. The chant in the background was actually Tanda Stotra. It was composed by Ravan, right? He was that much of a genius, and that's what makes him such a intriguing character to write about, right? Because exceptionally dark character, massive ego, anger management issues, but also brilliant, very well read, very talented, brilliant musician, reads a lot, wrote beautiful things, right? So someone who can be so talented can still meet his downfall because he couldn't control his ego. And perhaps that's a lesson that we can learn from Ravan, that no matter how talented you are, you can be as talented as Ravan was. You can have the blessings of Lord Shiva himself. But if you cannot control your ego, then your end is not going to be good. So it's in our own selfish interest to control our ego. Perhaps that's one of the things to learn from Ravan.
Yes, sir. That's actually true. I mean, the way we normally see Ravan is just the first half you mentioned. Egoistic.
Yeah.
The positive light is never shown. Only the negative part is shown.
But see, the fact that he was so brilliant is what made him even more evil, right? Evil is a loaded word. Is what made him even more monstrous. You know, because when he wanted to be bad, he could be so bad because he was actually so talented, right? And in a way, maybe that's a lesson too. That if you have been blessed by God, by the gods and the goddesses with talents, then you can actually do a lot more damage, right? So therefore, you must be even more careful with your talents, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Good
mean,
question, Gautam.
beautiful idea, sir. I'm a really huge fan. I'm honored meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Gautam. Take care, buddy.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you for joining. We've got a next question already, and the request is coming from Astrophile 179. Astrophile 179, I'm accepting your request now, and we'll see you to ask your question soon. Let's see. Here you go. Okay. Astrophile. Let's see. I think they might have to send the request again. Astrophile 179, could you send your request again? I also wanted to say this is our second last question, since we are also running out of time. But let's see. Astrophile, could you send your request again?
Someone is again asking, are people able to order internationally? Harper, if you can just respond to those questions,
Yes.
if people can order internationally, if you could just tag and answer them.
Yes.
Hi, buddy. What's your name?
Hello, sir. Sir, my name is Ramandeep Jaiswal.
Sorry?
Sir, my name is Ramandeep Jaiswal.
Hi, Ranujit. How are you doing? Tell
Sir,
me, what's the question?
Ramandeep Jaiswal.
Ramandeep. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a question regarding the Saptarishis. I have a doubt whether they were the creators of Vedas or they were someone who learned them, who heard the Vedas for the first time.
Okay, very, very good question, Raman. Look, what our traditions say is that the Vedas are clearly the Shruti. You know that, right? And the Smritis, you know, are different. Smritis are those that have human creations. Shruti, some include even the Upanishads among the Shruti, because the Upanishads are also attached to one of the four Vedas, the Maha Upanishads. So it is believed that the Saptarishis did not create the Vedas; they heard the Vedas from the Almighty, right? So because the Vedas are Shruti, which is that which is heard, Smriti is that which is remembered. That which is remembered, the Smritis were created by human minds, human hands. But the Shruti, it is believed, are divine in source, and that the rishis essentially heard them, and they sourced them from the divine, and then translated it for us ordinary people. So the creator was the divine. I'm a Shaivite, so we Shaivites believe that Lord Shiva is the source of the Vedas. I'm aware that the Vaishnavas believe that Lord Vishnu is the source of the Vedas. Many of the Shaktas, you said you're Biswas, I assume you're from Bengal or Odisha. Chances are you're probably a Shakta, goddess worshipper. Many of the Shaktas believe that the mother goddess is the source of the Vedas. That doesn't matter because all of them are from the same source. But you know, all are gods and goddesses. But yes, the Vedas, it is believed, the Shrutis are essentially the source is divine. The rishis only heard them and then translated it, or rather put it down into words for us ordinary people.
Sir, I'd like to ask you something.
Okay.
Sir, have you ever been to the
time
Northeast?
for one more question, Swati?
We are running out of time, but let's see. Maybe a quick answer for this one, and then we'll ask the last question, last query to come up.
Have you ever been to the Northeast?
I have, yes. I've been to Assam, I've been to Meghalaya, I've been to Sikkim.
Sir, I am actually from Assam only.
You're from Assam? Arey, I love Assam. I've been to Guwahati, of course, and Kamakya ji. I've prayed and worshipped out there. In my opinion, one of the most powerful Goddess Shakti temples I've ever been to. You know, one can feel the Jagruti out there. So, Jai Kamakya Ma. Sorry, go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, sir. This much. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
joining.
Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so now the last question by Just Call Me Shiv or Shandile Amritanshu. I'm accepting your request, Shandile. Let's see if, I hope he's still on. Just waiting for, yes, I think the previous video is just finished. We'll just add. That's the last question, and then we'll quickly wrap up. There you go. Hello.
हेलो सर।
Hi.
सर सबसे पहले सर आपको मैं बहुत थैंक्स कहना चाहता हूँ सर। मुझे बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा है कि आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ सर। मैं इमोर्टल ऑफ मेलुहा के समय से ही मैं आपका बहुत बड़ा फैन हूँ सर।
बहुत
मुझे
बहुत धन्यवाद।
मुझे अभी भी याद है सर, मैं दिल्ली जा रहा था तो वो स्टेशन पे मैंने आपका वो बुक उठाई लिया था वहाँ पे स्टेशन वाले बुक स्टॉल से, और उसके बाद से सर मेरी लाइफ वो जो चेंज आई है सर, वो बस मैं बता नहीं सकता। इतना मैं एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ अभी आपकी।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
यस
आपका नाम शिव है ना?
सर, असल में सर शिवम था, लेकिन आपके बुक से इंस्पायर होकर के मैंने उसे शॉर्ट कर दिया सर, शिव। तो असल में सर मैं आपके बुक से इसलिए ज्यादा कनेक्ट कर पा रहा हूँ क्योंकि सर मेरा घर बैद्यनाथ धाम में है सर। शायद आपने उसका नाम सुना हो, रावणेश्वर बैद्यनाथ धाम। तो मैं आपकी शिवा ट्रायलॉजी से भी कनेक्ट कर पा रहा था और अभी रामचंद्र सीरीज में भी कनेक्ट कर पा रहा हूँ सर एकदम। इसलिए मैं बहुत अभी एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ। और आप कभी आइए सर हम लोगों के शहर में प्लीज सर।
जरूर जरूर आएंगे, जरूर आएंगे। मैं आया तो हूँ वहां पे, आराधना तो की है मैंने, श्रद्धालु के ओर पे आया था, लेकिन हाँ फिर से आऊंगा मैं जरूर।
यस सर।
बताइए क्या प्रश्न है आपका?
सर मेरा प्रश्न था सर कि आप क्या सीता माता ने जो नागा लोगों का साम्राज्य को खड़ा किया था सर, उसके बारे में आप एक अलग से बुक लिखने वाले हैं या उसको फाइनल बुक में ही कंक्लूड कर देना चाह रहे हैं सर? जैसे मैं चाहता हूँ सर, क्योंकि शिवा ट्रिलॉजी में इतनी मस्त मुझे लगी वो सारी की सारी चीजें सर, पूरे के पूरी पंचवटी का पूरा जो सेटिंग था सर, वो मुझे इतना अच्छा लगा कि मुझे वो प्रोसेस जानना है सर कि कैसे बनाया था सीता माता ने उसे।
शिव, हम देख रहे हैं कि आप हमारी पुस्तकों को बहुत गौर से पढ़ते हैं।
जी सर।
क्योंकि
आपको
कई लोगों ने इस क्लू को पकड़ा नहीं था कि सीता माँ का गुरुकुल नाम भूमि था। कई लोगों ने इस क्लू को पकड़ा नहीं था, कई पाठकों ने पकड़ा नहीं था, लेकिन हाँ आपने पकड़ लिया था। क्योंकि शिवात्रय में जो पंचवटी जो नागा साम्राज्य थी उसकी संस्थापक साम्राज्य था, उसकी संस्थापक भूमि देवी थी। तो हाँ आपने सही पकड़ा है, और इसकी व्याख्या होगी, हम लिखेंगे, लेकिन ये चौथी पुस्तक में नहीं होगी। हाँ लेकिन जरूर इसके बारे में लिखेंगे।
जी सर।
लेकिन हाँ आपने आपने जैसे जैसे हमारे पुरबिया लोग में कहते हैं, सही पकड़े हैं।
जी सर, मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ सर कि आपका जो फेसबुक ग्रुप है सर, अमीश एंड द इमोर्टल्स, उसमें मैं और आपके कुछ और फैंस मिल करके बहुत सारे थ्योरीज देते रहते हैं सर। कभी कभी आप भी आकर के उसमें रिएक्शन दीजिए सर। और एक और बात सर कि आपने जो पिछले बार कुछ मेंबर्स को भेजी थी आपने साइंड कॉपीज, उसमें से मैं भी एक था, रावण का साइंड कॉपी एक्सेप्ट कर मिले था मुझे भी एक।
थैंक यू। मैं आप सबको बता दूं, जो शिव जो बात कर रहे हैं, एक फेसबुक ग्रुप है अमीश एंड द इमोर्टल्स, जिसमें मतलब ये जो रीडर्स हैं वही चलाते हैं उसको, और मैं भी कभी कभार, एक्चुअली मुझे शायद ज्यादा और जुड़ना चाहिए उसमें, लेकिन हम मेरे बहुत थियरीज वहाँ पे डिस्कस होते हैं। तो आप में से अगर किसी को भी रुचि हो तो उसमें जरूर ज्वाइन करिए। अमीश एंड द इमोर्टल्स करके फेसबुक ग्रुप है।
जी सर, थैंक्स अगेन सर। आपसे बात करके मैं मतलब बहुत पहले से ये मैं था सर कि कभी तो आपसे एक बार बात करना है, चाहे पर्सन में या कहीं पर और सोशल मीडिया पर भी, इस करके। थैंक्स सर, थैंक्स अगेन।
बहुत 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 धन्यवाद आपको शिव, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। शिव जी आपका भला रखें।
थैंक यू सर, आपका भी सर।
Thank you for joining. So that was our last question. But as promised, Sumuk, I know you were not being able to join, but if you could send your question again, I'm afraid your question's moved up. If you want to send your question on the comments box, I'll be able to get Amish to answer it, because I know you've tried a whole bunch of times to join and you've been unable to. So let's see if Sumuk sends his question. But in the meanwhile, Amish, this was wonderful. I know we have very short time now between now and the next big event, which is the cover launch. So I'm going to let people go because they'll go grab themselves maybe a tea or coffee, guys, and come back, join the live again, because Amish is going to be here with Mr. Anupam Kher to launch the cover. And also just a couple of things on how to pre-order the book. Just repeating things here. One is that you can order it from the link that will be at the HarperCollins page. It'll also be at Amish's bio, and of course it'll be on Amazon. And once the cover is revealed, it's going to be there with the cover and a swipe up link. So these are the ways you can order the book. And of course, you can order it from your nearest bookstore. So lots of ways to pre-order the book. And yeah, what else can we add here, Amish? Anything you want to share with your fans and readers before we sign off?
I think someone just asked, by the end of the book, will Ravan be an anti-hero, will remain an anti-hero or a villain? Ravan will remain what he always was, a dark person given into grief and with more talents than he can handle. It's a very dangerous combination.
Yeah, that is, I think that's one of your most layered creations in the book also. I mean, in himself, he's a layered creation, and now this, yeah.
I know one of the things I've learned is if you haven't got the heart to handle talents, it's better if you're not blessed with those talents, because then those talents actually become a curse. They make your life worse.
I completely get. You know, Sumuk's questions just come in, and I think that's a wonderful question to end the live with. I've thankfully got the Harper team working on the back end, and I've just got someone to send it to me. So we've got Sumuk's question here, which says, do you think War of Lanka is the most action-packed book compared to your other books? And I think that's a great question to end the...
Because look, the entire book is essentially about a war. So there is, so it is a violent book. But it's, look, the protagonists on all sides are actually very talented, smart people. So it's not just, people just giving into random violence. There's brilliant thinking, brilliant strategy, and most importantly, philosophies on why a battle should be fought. Remember, our greatest philosophies in our way. We have never been a culture, the Indian culture, which runs away from putting up a fight. If we have to fight, we will fight, right? But our deepest philosophies come in understanding why we have to fight. Remember, and this you find it across from the greatest of our texts, from the Bhagavad Gita, to even historical fiction, which Ponniyin Selvan, for example, are actually they're philosophical stories in the garb of wars fought by Rajraj Chola. So this is for us in the Indian way. Wars are never just about a brutal thug just fighting. There is a reason why you do what you do, which is what puts. There are questions of dharma which gets addressed, which is what will hopefully get addressed through this book.
Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to sign off now, but before we go, Amish, there's a question from the team we are all here. We also want to ask a question, and I think one of the questions that's come in from the team is, and of course you'll have to explain why we're asking this, is how many cream biscuits were sacrificed in the making of this book?
Too many to count.
You want to tell your fans why it's such a strange question?
As most of my readers know, the hardcore readers, when I'm writing, I eat tons of cream biscuits. So I tend to put on weight when I'm writing, and then I lose weight when I'm not writing anymore, because I'll be exercising strenuously to lose weight. So yes, tons of cream biscuits were used in the creation of this book. No animals were harmed, but tons of cream biscuits were harmed.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Amish, for joining us. Thank you, guys. We got hundreds of questions, Amish. The one thing we'll tell the readers is one more live coming up in the next half an hour. And then we're going to have Amish do many of these interactions with you from now to the release of the book and even after that. So stay tuned, and thank you everyone for joining from HarperCollins and of course from Amish. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye.